StudyHouse.com.
Okay, students, now we are going to start with one short revision of electrochemistry, which is very essential to study before the examination. Okay, already we have one short numerical lecture, and now we are going to have one short theory and formula session. Okay, so this will be very helpful for last around maximum half an hour or 1 hour. In this half an hour to 1 hour, we are going to revise all concept along with the formula. Okay. So before examination, if you wanted to complete your all revision of this chapter, better to go through the theory this session and then numerical session. That's enough. Okay. So it will automatically improve the your score because this is the chapter where you have the maximum score. In the recent examination also, current examination also, every session have two questions from this topic. Okay, two questions means 8 marks. 8 marks means thousands of rank. It will be improved. Okay, already we have separate theory sessions and numerical session for in-depth understanding and overall understanding. Numerical session we have. Now we are going to have the theory session and formulas. Okay, so if you have the less time, these two sessions are very necessary. Let's start with the one short revision of electrochemistry theory and formula session. Actually speaking, the electrochemistry is basically how many parts? Electrochemistry is basically two parts. Okay, what are those two parts? Electrolysis and electrochemical cell. Okay, electrochemical cell is commercially known as electrochemical cells are commercially known as galvanic cells. Okay, galvanic cells are nothing but the electrochemical cell only, but the commercial term we use is commercial term is galvanic cell and chemical term is electrochemical cell. Okay, their role is entirely opposite. What is the opposite? It will convert the chemical energy, electrical energy into chemical energy and stores it, whereas it converts the chemical energy to the electrical energy. Okay, if the reaction is reversible, then we can have both of them together. Then such cells are called as a secondary cells. Okay, secondary cells are reversible in nature. That means in one direction they will be undergoing electrolysis, and another direction they will be acting as a electrochemical cells. Okay, so this is possible only when the reactions are reversible. Okay, so that will be the best advantage. When you have chemical energy, you can store it as electrical energy, and when you have electrical energy, you can convert back into the chemical energy and store it for a long time. Okay, so let us start with the one by one formulas, and theories are uses anywhere. We will start with. Okay. Okay, in the electrochemical cell, the very first and most frequently asked questions are from the Daniel cell. Okay, Daniel cell uses zinc as an anode and copper as a cathode. Okay, highly reactive metal will always act as an anode, less reactive metal will act as a cathode, and any salt solution containing zinc will be acting as a electrolyte in the this cell ZnSO4, and here it is associated with copper sulfate. Okay, and when they are treated together, when they are connected together through the conductor, through the load, then the electricity will start flowing from the external circuit from the zinc to the copper. It will be start flowing from the external circuit from the zinc to the copper. That means zinc will be losing the electron and copper 2 plus of the electrolyte will be gaining the electron. Okay, so let us take this is one half cell, this is another half cell. Okay, So this is going to contain zinc and zinc sulfate. It is going to contain copper and copper sulfate. Okay. So these two electrodes are connected together. This is possible only when they are connected together through a load and electrical conductors. Okay. And there should be provided the return path. This is called as what? Salt bridge. Okay. Salt bridge got the three purpose. Salt bridge got the three purpose. Okay. Who can say the three purpose? Okay, there are three purpose because this type of questions only will give you the more than one correct option. Okay. Salt bridge, first of all, it provides the return path. See, this is the continuity is maintained because of the salt bridge only. Okay. First of all, it provides the return path. Okay. Electricity will not break into the, will not flow into the broken circuit. So the return path must be provided. That is the first thing. Okay. Second thing, it avoids LJP. LJP means liquid junction potential. Otherwise, electrical neutrality. Okay. Many times what we have, we know the concept, but that word, if you don't know, then there is no use. LJP means liquid junction potential. It maintains the electrical neutrality and polarization. It avoids the polarization. So these are the three uses. Okay. First, salt bridge purpose is to provide the return path and maintain continuity of the electrical circuit. Second, liquid junction potential is avoided and avoids polarization. These are the three purpose of the salt bridge. Okay. So if it can be asked which of the following is not a purpose of the purpose of the salt bridge, then it will be only single correct option. More than one correct options will be all these three. Okay. Okay, in this one, suppose if you wanted to react, if you wanted to identify what is the shortcut I told you, LOAN. This is left side. Okay. While while representing what we will write before the reaction it will be zinc. After the reaction it will be converted into the here before the reaction, zinc will be in the elementary form. After the reaction, it will be converted into zinc 2 positive. Okay. Same way here, before the reaction, it is going to be copper. It is going to be copper 2 plus. Okay. Before reaction, it is going to be copper 2 plus. It will convert back into the copper. Okay. As the reaction proceeds, what happens? The mass of this electrode will dash, the mass of this electrode will dash, mass of the zinc electrode will increase, decrease, remains constant, or mass of the, this is general term, cathode mass will be, the copper mass will be increasing and zinc mass will be decreasing. Concentration of electrolyte in the oxidation half cell will increase in terms of the zinc because it is zinc is added. Here this concentration will increase, this mass will decrease. This mass will increase, this concentration will decrease. Is that understood? Variation of the both properties, mass and concentration. Okay. So that is the difference between the oxidation half cell. This part is called as a oxidation half cell. This part is called as a reduction half cell. So before the reaction it is zinc and after the reaction it is converted to zinc 2 positive. Before the reaction it is copper 2 positive, after the reaction it is copper. Okay. So therefore now they both are what they are done, they both are interconnected with each other. Then this is the complete representation of the cell. So if you identify and remember this part, then opposite converse will be the other part. This part is zinc oblique zinc 2 positive. That means left. O means oxidation and the cell is oxidation half cell and in that it contains the anode and its charge is negative. Okay. So this is about the representation, IUPAC representation, diagrammatic and memory technique of the Daniell cell. Okay, Daniell cell, Lakeland cell, galvanic cell. In the galvanic cell, one example is Daniell cell. In the Daniell cell, zinc anode, copper cathode. This is the construction and working and uses of the salt bridge. I think is it clear to all of you? So every metal can act as an anode as well as cathode. Okay, that depends on the tendency to lose or tendency to gain in comparison to the other metal. Every metal got the tendency to lose electron, but they are relatively they are not same. Some metal got better tendency to lose electron, then it will act as an anode, and some metal ion got better tendency to gain, then that will act as a cathode. So to compare the relative tendency to lose of metal or gain by electron by the metal ion, there is some physical quantity is measured that is called electrode potential. It is common for both losing tendency and gaining tendency. If you want to maintain, if you want to compare only losing tendency, then the electrode potential is useful is oxidation potential. Oxidation potential. If you want to measure only gaining tendency, then it is called as a reduction potential. Then it is called as what? Reduction potential. It is for losing and it is for gaining. Both values are common, equal, but only thing is sign will be different. If it is positive, this is minus. If it is negative, this is plus. But for standard purpose, we will maintain all values at the reduction potential only. The best value to compare, best methodology used, best notation used is only reduction potential. Okay. So if we are able to maintain 1 molarity concentration of electrolyte, 1 atm pressure and 25 degrees Celsius, then that pressure and that electrode potential measured at this condition is called as a standard potential. Okay. And if it is oxidation potential, SOP, standard oxidation potential. If it is reduction potential, then it is SRP, standard reduction potential. Okay. Out of this is rarely used, this is mostly used. Okay. SRP means you should understand it as a standard reduction potential. Okay. Standard reduction potential have wide varieties of usage to compare the reactivity. Okay. So SRP is more negative. That I will explain through the electrochemical series. Okay. So all metals values are calculated at this condition. Then an order is maintained that is called as a electrochemical series. Okay. Electrochemical series is arrangement of electrochemical series is arrangement of electrochemical series is arrangement of electrodes. Okay. It is arrangement of electrodes on the basis of their SRP, standard reduction potential, on the basis of their standard reduction potential. Okay. And two things, objectives will be there. Highest positive electrochemical series, is it understood? Electrochemical series. Electrochemical series is arrangement of electrodes on the basis of their reduction potential. Which reduction potential? SRP. Okay. On the basis of their standard reduction potentials. Okay. In this electrochemical series, two things you should remember. Direct objectives. What is that? Which is the topmost and which is the bottommost, or which is the highest positive, which is the lowest negative. Who can identify, who can tell which electrode SRP highest positive? SRP highest positive is found for SRP lowest negative. Lowest, otherwise more negative. More negative found in. Okay, see, SRP is highest positive for the fluorine. Highly positive for the fluorine. Okay, this is obvious because it is most electronegative element in the world. Okay, so most electronegative means it is strongest dash agent. Strongest, which agent it is? Highly positive reduction potential, shows that it is dash agent. Oxidizing, reducing. Oxidizing or reducing. Fluorine is the strongest oxidizing agent. Okay, you can find the highest oxidation state of any metal, any element when it is combined with what? Fluorine. Like if you take sulfur, okay, so it can form SF6. So when fluorine is there, highest oxidation state is how much? +6. Okay, so when fluorine is there, it is shows its highest capability, that is oxidation state. Okay, so strongest oxidizing agent, same way, lithium with -3.05 contains the lowest standard reduction potential. It is the strongest. It is also strongest. But what agent? Reducing agent. Understood? Now question is how the lithium can be. How the lithium can be. Okay. Actually, the reason behind lithium abnormally its value is very high just because of the strong hydration energy. Okay, highest hydration energy among the alkali metal. Okay, obviously alkali metal should contain the highest reduction potential, but among them lithium is having surprisingly, just because it releases a lot of energy during hydration. Hence, it is the strongest reducing agent. Lithium is the strongest reducing agent and fluorine is the strongest oxidizing agent. It is with highest positive, it is highest negative value. Okay, it is about the electrochemical series. What is the construction? What are the direct objective? Is it understood? Now we are going to study some applications of electrochemical series. Okay, these are the electrochemical series applications. How many applications? 5 applications. Okay. First of all, if we have two metals, which is oxidizing agent, which is reducing agent, without carrying out any reaction, we can, with the just value of the electrochemical series reduction potential, we can identify oxidizing agent and reducing agent. Suppose there are two electrodes A and B. Okay, its value is 0.37, its value is -1.03. So which is oxidizing agent, which is reducing agent? Without knowing these values, we will get it from the electrochemical series. So by the values provided in the electrochemical series, we can identify which is oxidizing agent, which is reducing agent. Okay, see here, just now I told you lithium with the more negative is strongest reducing agent and fluorine with the highest positive is strongest oxidizing agent. That means if positive values are there, that is oxidizing agent, negative values is there, reducing agent. So here positive value is there, that means it is oxidizing agent. So this will be reducing agent. So just by the values procured from the electrochemical series can be used for identifying oxidizing and reducing. Okay. Then without constructing, we can calculate EMF also. EMF will be reduction potential of cathode minus reduction potential of anode. Two things you should remember. Both values must be reduction potential only. CA, okay, chartered accountant, cathode minus anode. E naught reduction potential of cathode minus E naught reduction potential of anode. Okay. Then compare the relative reactivities. Suppose two metals are there. This is B and this is C. C is -2.07. Okay. So these two are metal procured values from the electrochemical series. So out of B and C, which is more reactive? Which is more reactive? See here, it is -2.07, -1.03. More negative is the SRP, better will be the metallic nature. With the negative, we can identify it is metal. And better metal means better, more negative electrode potential. Suppose if this is given and another D metal is D is given minus 0.8, sorry, plus 0.89. That positive shows that they may be non-metals because there are certain metals also with the positive electrode potential. Okay, better non-metal, better non-metal will be D. Okay, better metal will be A. Understood? More negative, less positive means metallic property is good, and more negative, less more negative means more metallic, less non-metallic. This is the way to compare the reactivities. Okay, reaction can be as a metal as a non-metal also. Okay, then displacement of metal by hydrogen. Very simple. If a reduction potential is negative, that can displace the metal from the hydrogen. Displace the that metal can displace the hydrogen from the corresponding acid. Okay, is it clear to all of you? Okay, now next, spontaneous reaction or not. If you are able to mix two metal and salts, whether the reaction will take place or not, if takes place in which direction. Simply what you will do to check the spontaneity, whether the reaction is spontaneous or not, then what value you will find out. See, from the electrochemical series, we will find out the delta E. Okay. If the delta E is positive, obviously delta G will be negative. Once delta G is negative, the reaction will be spontaneous. Okay. So these are the 5 applications of electrochemical series. Is this clear? Okay. Next revision topic is Nernst equation. Nernst equation gives the relation between dash three things. What are the three things? It gives the relation between EMF or electrode potential. EMF or electrode potential, concentration oblique pressure, and temperature. Okay. So if you are taking only half cell, then electrode potential, how it varies. If you take the complete cell, how much EMF is varying. If you are taking liquid or solutions, then concentration. If you are taking the gaseous, electrode pressure, and how they are related with the temperature. That is the purpose of the Nernst equation. Is that clear to all of you? So let us take only Mn plus n electron will give you metal. Okay, Mn plus n electron will give you metal. So with this, what you can find out? Electrode potential. Okay. So E reduction is equal to E naught reduction. So from where you will get this value? This value is predetermined from where you will consult. If you want some E naught reduction, from where you will get? Very good. You will get it from the ECS, electrochemical series. Okay. Minus 2.303 RT upon NF into log product upon reactant. This is product, this is reactant. Okay. So mostly concentration of metal will be 1. Okay. But one question was there with the mercury. Okay. Nowadays, amalgamated metal is also considered as a solution. Amalgamated metal also considered as a solution. Okay. So M oblique Mn positive. M oblique Mn positive. Is that clear to all of you? But if we have A moles of A react with B moles of B to form C moles of C and D moles of D. Now this is complete electrochemical cell. What it is? Complete electrochemical cell. In that condition, what you will do? You will find out the E cell. E cell is equal to E naught cell. So this you will calculate by using the SRPs from the electrochemical series. Minus 2.303 RT upon NF. Okay. Into concentration of product C to the power of C, D to the power of D divided by A to the power of A and B to the power of B. Okay. So you will find out this. Students are facing problem in calculating N value. Suppose here it is aluminium, here it is magnesium. Okay. If it is, let us take A as aluminium, B as a magnesium. Okay. Now what will be A value? What will be B value? What will be A value? What will be B value? If I am taking A as a aluminium, B as a magnesium, what will be the A value? What will be the B value? What will be the N value? What will be the N value? Okay, very simple. See, aluminium 3 positive. Okay, number of electron lost by the or gained by the aluminium must be equal to the number of electron transferred from the magnesium. So aluminium is 3. It should be what? 2, and it is 2, so it should be 3. Is it understood? So A is equal to 2, B is equal to 3, N will be how much that time? 6. So 2, 3, 6. Is it understood to all of you? So like this values, like this example can only be taken while revising, because individually when you study the topic, you are perfect in that. So recollecting is not checked that time. Understood? So once the whole chapter is over, whether you are able to recollect that formula at that moment can be done only in the one shot revision. Okay. Okay, from the next equation, we can find out the EMF. What we can find out? We can find out the EMF. Once you find out the EMF, you can find out delta G. Delta G is what? Gives free energy or maximum useful work. What is delta G? Maximum useful work. Okay. Minus NF E cell. What you will find out? Minus NF E cell. Okay. So here F is the Faraday value. You will take it as a 96500, and most of the students doing mistake the delta G units. Okay. Once you take 96500, and this will be obviously in volt. This will be the number of electron transfer during formation of that cell. That time this units will be, units of delta G will be. So this will be in joules. What it will be? Joules. If it is coulomb, then electron volt. Okay, it is Faraday. 96500. 1 Faraday is equal to 96500. So the units of delta G will be in joules, but options they are giving in the kilojoules. Okay, because one of the student got the uh, lost the marks just because it was integer type. Okay, and in bracket they clearly mentioned answer in bracket kilojoules. So while writing the integer type answer, so don't try to write. Units are making a very vital role in rank boosting, especially integer type. Okay, so this value is going to be in joules. So while circling, while answering the integer type, if it is mentioned, then you should convert into kilojoules. Okay. Okay, so this is about the electrochemical cell, and for finding out the electrode potentials, to find out the standard reduction potential, we require some standard electrode also. We require what electrodes? Standard electrodes. Okay, there are how many standard electrodes? There are how many standard electrodes? Very good. Two types of standard electrode. One is called as a primary standard electrode, and second one is called as a secondary standard electrode. Okay, secondary standard electrode. Primary standard is only one electrode, that is SHE or NHE, standard hydrogen electrode or normal hydrogen electrode. In secondary reference electrode, okay, standard reference electrodes are how many types? Two types: primary reference electrode, secondary reference electrode. Okay, so in the secondary electrodes, there are two examples. First one is calomel electrode. What electrode? Calomel electrode. Second one is silver salt. Okay, silver salt, especially AgCl. Okay, so because of the cost effectiveness, these are mostly used, but accuracy will be less. Once you use the secondary electrode at calomel or silver salt, accuracy will be less. Okay, and primary electrode accuracy will not be lost. Is that understood? Okay, there are two types of confusion in the Nernst equation. When to substitute what? Okay, what is that? First of all, at equilibrium, what is zero? Okay, and in concentration cells, what is zero? In concentration cells, what is zero? Okay, so there are a lot of confusion in these two questions. When an electrochemical cell is at equilibrium, something is zero. What is that? Okay, when you take the concentration cell, what is that? What is the zero value? Okay, which becomes zero. In an electrochemical cell at equilibrium, which quantity becomes zero? In a concentration cell, which quantity becomes zero? Okay, listen. So actually in the Nernst equation, there are two similar terms which are zero. Okay. So when to make zero and at what condition, I am clearly giving idea. Because of the small confusion, people are losing marks. Okay. Delta E is equal to delta E naught minus 0.059 upon N log Q or product upon reactant. Okay. So suppose when at equilibrium, question is given at equilibrium, which of these term will become zero? Question, is it understood? When question is given, the equilibrium is attained. So then which value you will substitute as a zero? Okay, question understood? So when equilibrium is given, then what you will do? You will substitute delta E is equal to zero. Okay, what you will substitute? Delta E is equal to zero. Why? Because at equilibrium means forward direction it will be electrochemical cell, then backward direction will be electrolytic cell. So at equilibrium both are occurring at the same rate. That means potential voltage produced in the forward direction will equally consumed in the backward direction. Therefore, and what you substitute? QC, you will substitute as a KC. Okay. So when system is given at equilibrium, when it is mentioned at equilibrium, two things you will substitute zero. What are those two things? Here, this will be zero. Okay. But second thing, in concentration cell, if it is mentioned in concentration cell, then what will make it as a zero? Delta E naught is equal to zero, not delta E. Okay. Why? Because in concentration cell, anode and cathode will be same. So E naught reduction potential of cathode, E naught reduction potential of anode, both will be same. Therefore, delta E naught will be zero. Very important confusing term. Note down this and mark it with special attraction. Okay. So is it understood what to substitute zero in at equilibrium and at concentration cell? Okay. Now let us see about the terms used in electrolysis. Terms used in electrolysis. Okay. First term, resistance, resistivity, conductance, conductivity, molar conductivity, equivalent conductivity. Okay. These are the six terms interrelated with each other. Resistance is the hindrance offered. Resistance is the hindrance offered by electrolyte to the flow of electrons. And when you specify, okay, this is extensive property, this is intensive property. There is a question related to thermodynamics also. Okay, resistance is a extensive property depends on the quantity, but resistivity is intensive property because resistivity everything is specified. Okay, what is specified? R is equal to resistance directly proportional to L and inversely proportional to A. So R is equal to rho into L by A. So for defining, we have taken this as 1 square. Okay. So therefore, what is this L by A is called as a cell constant. L by A is called as a cell constant. Once you specify everything, that property will become as an intensive property. There is no specification for resistance. But for resistivity, distance between the electrodes must be 1, area of the electrode must be 1, or total volume between the electrode must be 1 cube. Okay. Therefore, resistivity is an intensive property, resistance is an extensive property. So, resistivity is equal to resistance when L by A is equal to 1. Cell constant will become 1. Okay. So, next to C and K. Reciprocal of resistance is conductance, reciprocal of resistivity is conductivity. Okay. So, when I write 1 by R, then I will get C. When I write 1 by rho, I will get K, conductivity. Okay. Now in this conductivity only it is affected by concentration. If resistivity is the resistivity is equal to resistance. Resistivity is equal to resistance when distance between electrodes is 1 and specific area, a surface area is equal to 1 square. Okay. When this total term becomes 1, then R is equal to rho. That's where resistivity is equal to resistance when distance of separation is 1 and area of surface area of electrodes is 1. Okay. So reciprocal of this is this, reciprocal of this is this. Okay. Now this itself is depends on the concentration of electrolyte. Okay. If you write the concentration of electrolyte in terms of the molarity, then inverted Vm, if you write concentration in terms of the normality, then you have to write it as a equivalent conductivity. And there is one more confusion. Suppose if I wanted to write, I think everybody noted this. Okay. Now there is a confusion and one more mistake done by students in the equivalent conductivity and molar conductivity. Okay. Suppose AXBY is a electrolyte. Okay. So according to Correlash law, if you write inverted molar conductivity of AXBY, then you will multiply it with X. Okay. And molar conductivity of X. Sorry, A to the power of Y plus. Is it understood? But in equivalent conductivity, this does not involve more in here. When you write as equivalent conductivity, this is for already 1 mole. Okay. So you need not to worry about the charge Y, because in equivalent conductivity, what you will do? Equivalent conductivity already involves a term of equivalent factor, which is equal to charge. So this value is already involved here itself. So don't forget about this value when you write it into the equivalent conductivity. Okay. But in molar conductivity, this value is not there. Is it understood? So that is the difference. And this question was came with respect to CaSO4. With respect to CaSO4, that question was there. So then what the students have done, they have multiplied with 2 because its equivalent factor is 2. So don't multiply it with 2 because equivalent factor is itself involves the divided by 2. Okay. But if it is molar conductivity is there, then you have to multiply it with 2. For molar conductivity, multiply it with 2, but equivalent conductivity, don't multiply it with 2. That is the difference between molar conductivity and equivalent conductivity. Is that clear to all of you? So these are the special mistakes done at the especially equilibrium and what do you call concentration cell, and equivalent conductivity and molar conductivity. And in some places, they are giving molar conductivity of water. Okay. So while defining molar conductivity of electrolyte, then what you have to do? You have to subtract the water value. If they specify, you will subtract. If they don't specify, don't subtract. Because let us say NaCl aqueous. Okay. Here this is due to two things. What are those two things? Conductivity by NaCl as well as conductivity by water also. And if they are specifying that molar conductivity of water is that much, then for what you will do then? It is equal to molar conductivity by only NaCl plus molar conductivity by the water also. Okay. So you substitute this, then you will get this one. This equal to what further? Two things: ionic conductivity of Na plus and ionic conductivity of Cl minus. Okay. So total three substances are giving this value: ionic conductivity of sodium, ionic conductivity of chlorine, and ionic conductivity of water. Okay. But most of the places, if they don't mention, we will neglect this value. Okay. Because the number of ions produced by water itself are very, very less. Hence, you can neglect. But if they are mentioning what you have to do, you should not neglect. Is that clear to all of you? Okay, now let us see about the Wheatstone bridge. So here Wheatstone bridge is used for, basically use of the Wheatstone bridge is to know the unknown resistance. Okay, then there will be how many resistance? Three resistance. There will be how many resistance? Three resistance whose value is known or whose value can be determined. Okay, then second thing is the fourth resistance value is to be determined. Let us take, this is the electrolytic cell. What is this? Electrolytic cell. Okay. Electrolytic cell also got some resistance. To find out that resistance, we will substitute in place of the unknown resistance. Okay. Now out of these three, one will be variable or all three can also be variable. Let us take, this is a variable resistance. Let us take, this is a variable resistance. Then what you will do? You will keep on varying the resistance till the time this electricity will start flowing through this, because suppose resistance is here less. Okay, then current will pass through the lowest possible resistance. Once you are balancing, that means both resistance of the either side is same. Then by substituting the known values, you can find out the unknown value. Okay. Okay, then the effect of molar conductivity, effect on molar conductivity with concentration. Okay, here square root of concentration, Debye-Huckel-Onsager reaction or equation. So square root of concentration and molar conductivity. If it follows this pattern, that means it is a weak electrolyte. If it follows this pattern, then it is a strong electrolyte. Okay. So let us take two electrolytes A, B and C. Then strength of the electrolytic nature, order of strength of electrolytic nature or molar conductivity will be, A will be the highest one. Let us take HCl, okay, KCl. So this is going to be the HCl, this is going to be the KCl. Why? Because H plus is fastest ion to move due to Grother's conductance. After H plus, the highest conductivity shown by is OH minus. Okay, fastest conductivity shown by what? H plus. Because of the small compact size, it can jump from one water molecule to another water molecule. Whereas other ions like K plus travels, whereas H plus OH minus jumps. So jumping speed is more than the traveling speed. Hence conductivity by the H plus is highest. Second conductivity highest will be OH minus. Okay. So based on this also questions will be coming. Okay. And it is related with the If it is straight line, then you can convert it into the y is equal to mx plus c. So this intercept will be c, the slope will be the m. Okay. Then in the electrolysis, Faraday's laws. Then what? Faraday's laws. So Faraday's laws are two types. Faraday's laws are how many types? Two types. Okay. First law is only applicable when you have only one electrolytic cell. When you have two or more than two electrolytic cell, then you will use the second law. Okay. What is the difference between the first law and second law? When you have only one electrolyte, one electrolytic tub, first law. Mass of the substance collected or liberated at any electrode is directly proportional to charge. Okay. And charge W is equal to Q. Okay, W directly proportional to Q. So W is equal to Z into Q. Okay, and Q can be written as Z into I into T. So what is the Z here? Electrochemical equivalent. Z is called as electrochemical equivalent, and its formula will be atomic mass. If you wanted to find out only zinc mass, you will write the zinc atomic mass. If you wanted to find out total zinc sulfate, you will find zinc molecular mass. Okay, divided by equivalent factor will be same. Let it be zinc 2 positive or let it be zinc sulfate. That equivalent factor is going to be same. Okay, into 96500. So that is the electrochemical equivalent, and it is used only when one electrolytic tub. So, but you have the values of one electrolytic cell and you wanted to substitute in the other electrolytic cell, then you will use the second law. Okay. So, suppose W1, W2 and W3 are the three masses collected. Then it will be in the ratio of Z1 ratio Z2 ratio Z3. Like that, you can find out the values. Suppose if you know the how much mass is collected from this one, you can find out what is the mass that will be collected at the second electrolytic tub, third electrolytic tub. You can find out and you can compare how many times it is going to be. Okay, these are the applications of Faraday's laws. According to Faraday's law, mass is always directly proportional to charge given to it. If you give more charge, then you will collect the more amount of electrolyte. Okay. Then predicting the products of electrolysis. And before that, there is a one topic, ionic mobility. Ionic mobility is equal to ionic velocity. Very important topic for the advanced and aims. Ionic velocity, okay, divided by potential gradient. Potential gradient. That means how much voltage we are giving. How much voltage we are giving, that is potential gradient. How much speed with which it is moving, that is called as a ionic velocity. Okay. In the numerator it will be V. In the denominator dV by dt. Potential gradient. Potential gradient. So V by dV by dt. This is voltage and this is velocity, though both are represented same way. Actually this is velocity, this is voltage. Okay, so in the numerator this total units will be meter square, voltage square and second inverse. Okay, units of ionic mobility, are meter square, voltage inverse or volt inverse, second inverse. Okay, this is called as a ionic mobility. Note down this formula. Okay, next one is transport number. Transport number is for the each individual ion. Okay, so both ions may not be equally carrying the current. To compare the current carrying capacity of each and individual ion, there it is denoted with the transport number. Okay, current carried by a particular ion. What is this? Current carried by a particular ion divided by total current carried. Okay. So let us take cation and divided by total current by cation and anion. Anion divided by total current carried by cation and anion. Like that, transport number is applicable for each individual ion. So everywhere you will find out how many transport numbers? Two transport numbers. Transport number of cation divided by transport number of anion. Okay. So after that, then next topic is batteries. Okay. Batteries are commercial cells. There are three types of batteries which can be used again and again, which cannot be used again and again. Okay. If we cannot use it again and again, then it is called as a primary cell. Primary cell. If we can use it after recharge, then it is called as a secondary cell. Okay. You can continuously use it without recharging, then it is called as a fuel cell. Okay. There are three types of primary cell. First one is called as dry cell. Second one is called as mercury cell. Okay, mercury cell. Third one is modified dry cell or alkaline dry cell. Okay, we can call it as a alkaline dry cell. Understood? So in examination, what you will remember? Three things you will remember. What is anode? What is cathode? And what is electrolyte? Okay, what is electrolyte? Understood? If possible, you can remember the EMF value also. We can remember EMF value also, that is optional. But these three things in each and everything you should understand. Like in dry cell, what is anode? In dry cell, what is anode? This modified form of the dry cell is called as alkaline dry cell. Okay. Anode here it will be zinc. Very good. Cathode. In the dry cell, cathode. Cathode. Fast. Very good. Graphite rod or carbon rod, but the reaction taking place will be, it is not participating. Okay. The reaction will be of something. And electrolyte. Electrolyte in the dry cell. Electrolyte in the dry cell. Electrolyte in the dry cell. Very good. NH4Cl. Paste of moist paste of the NH4Cl. Paste of NH4Cl. Very nice. Then mercury. Let's see who will be the fastest. Mercury. Mercury cell. Mercury cell anode. Mercury cell anode. Okay. See, in mercury cell, amalgamated zinc paste of mercuric oxide. Okay. And with the carbon rod or graphite rod. And KOH and zinc oxide. Okay. KOH and zinc oxide is electrolyte. And alkaline dry cell, everything is same. Zinc and zinc, graphite rod. Actually, here working will be of MnO2. Okay. But in place of NH4Cl, which is mostly acidic in nature because it is a salt of weak base and strong acid. So now it is going to have KOH. What it is going to have? KOH. That is the difference. That's why this is also called as alkaline dry cell or modified dry cell. Okay. That is the difference between old dry cells and new dry cell. Ammonium chloride is now replaced with less harmful KOH. Okay. Okay, now let's start with the secondary cells. Secondary cell, how many types? Secondary cells are how many types? First one is lead acid battery. Second one is nickel cadmium cell. Okay, nickel cadmium cell. Now you can start answering lead acid battery. Lead acid battery anode is. Both are made up of the same metal only, but their composition is different. Anode. Anode in the lead acid battery. We have a wonderful colorful class on the lead acid battery commercial cells. Very good. Spongy lead. What lead? Spongy lead. Okay. Spongy lead. And cathode will be very nice. PbO2. Lead peroxide also some places it is mentioned. Electrolyte. Electrolyte will be very good. Concentrated sulfuric acid. Okay. concentrated or dilute sulfuric acid. That's what will change. In the sulfuric acid by the usage, what we will monitor? We will monitor the density. Density of sulfuric acid is monitored. Okay, because when you operate it, when you discharge it, sulfuric acid will keep on consumed. Okay. Okay. Now let us see about the nickel cadmium. Fast, speed up, speed up, speed up. Nickel cadmium cell. What is anode? In nickel cadmium cell, what is anode? Okay, see here, lead acid battery, spongy lead is anode and lead dioxide will be cathode. Okay, it will change oxidation number from +4 to +2. This will also change in oxidation number from 0 to +2. Final oxidation number of lead will be same, but one will be increases from 0 to +2, another will be decreasing from +4 to +2. Finally, we'll get lead sulfate. Therefore, sulfuric acid density will keep on decreases. Okay. So the density of sulfuric acid plays a vital role in the integer type questions and numericals. Okay. And coming to the disadvantage of lead acid battery, it does not have the long life. Okay. But only thing is it is cheaper in cost. Okay. But heavy in mass. Hence, nickel cadmium battery. Nickel cadmium battery, cadmium will be anode and nickel OH, NaOH will be cathode. It will be reduced, okay, in alkaline medium. So alkali will be the electrolyte. So due to corrosive nature of sulfuric acid, the life of lead acid battery is very less. Hence, it is now replaced with alkali. Okay, but there is still one more problem with the nickel cadmium is it is very expensive but long life. Okay, so these are the differences between the secondary cells. Fuel cell will be hydrogen, oxygen, and both are separated by platinized graphite. Platinized graphite. So during the reaction, hydrogen is undergoing oxidation from 0 to +1, and oxygen will be reducing from 0 to -2. So this will be reduction cathode, this will be oxidation anode, but both will take place as platinized graphite. Okay. So the disadvantage of the fuel cell is it uses a costliest metal, platinum. Advantage is that it is highly efficient. What is the efficiency formula? Delta G is the output. Okay, thermodynamic efficiency by delta H. Okay, thermodynamic efficiency of a fuel cell is delta G by delta H. Okay, this is called as efficiency. Its efficiency is more than 70%. Okay, that means if you give 100 kilojoules, 70 kilojoules will be directly converted into electrical energy. That is about the fuel cell. And corrosion is the slow eating away of the metal by atmospheric gases into compounds. Is that clear? Okay, with this we have completed the most important chapter, electrochemistry, 8 marks pakka chapter. Let it be NEET, let it be IIT, any exam. Minimum I am telling you, I can give you in writing also 8 marks pakka chapter in the entire physical chemistry from the last 2 years, this year and last year, both examinations. Okay. So therefore, all of you should carefully go through it to secure, because day to day this chapter importance is increasing. So in your examination, it can be more than 12 marks also. Okay, 12 marks, more than 12 marks also. Don't think 8 marks how it is going to be effective, because 8 marks means you are going to jump your rank by thousands. Okay. So, and you may save in lakhs, because if you get NIT seat, if you get government college, then you will be saving in lakhs. To save lakhs, to save your future, go through this one shot electrochemistry, maintain your proper notes. All the best for your life. Bye bye.